Goldfinger. He's the man with the Midas touch, a spider's touch, such a cold finger beckons you to enter his web of sin.
After the highly successful and critically acclaimed From Russia with Love, it seemed almost that James Bond films would have nowhere to go but down. However, with the release of Goldfinger, Eon Films showed that the series was still going strong, as they created the archetypical Bond film that most others would be patterned after. Goldfinger is less serious and noirish than the previous two films, featuring a more flamboyant villain, the lack of the organization Spectre, and more of a focus on Bond using specialized spy gadgets, including the classic Aston Martin DB5, tricked out with machine guns, rocket launchers, oil slicks, a passenger ejector, and, of course, rotating number plates. Despite the less serious tone, Goldfinger is highly regarded among Bond fans, and the standard upon which all subsequent films are usually judged against. Adapting the seventh novel, Goldfinger has Bond investigating Auric Goldfinger, played by Gert Frobe, a businessman with a fascination for gold who is suspected of wrongdoing. Upon foiling Goldfinger's attempts to cheat at cards, Goldfinger retaliates brutally by murdering the girl who helped Bond. Bond later goads Goldfinger into playing golf with him, using a gold brick as a bet. As Goldfinger cheats, Bond foils this and wins, which angers Goldfinger again, and he has his manservant Oddjob, played by Harold Sakata, decapitate a statue by throwing his hat, in one of the most striking visuals of the film. Much like in Dr. No, Bond and Goldfinger exchange pleasantries with an underlying tenseness, as both characters are well aware of the other's intentions. Bond gets captured by Goldfinger and is kept in check by his private pilot, Pussy Galore, played by Anna Blackman, one of the most memorable Bond girls. In another of the series' most memorable scenes, Goldfinger attempts to execute Bond using a laser, which is, interestingly, the very first time a laser was shown in a motion picture. This is where Bond and the villain have their famous exchange. "Do you expect me to talk?" "No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die." Bond manages to talk his way out of it and proves to be more valuable alive than dead, as Goldfinger continues to demonstrate his ruthlessness by having his financial backers killed by gassing them, and has another man put in the trunk of a car and then having the car crushed into a cube. Bond also exchanges wits with Pussy Galore, who resists his charms, which is indicative of the original character from the novel, who was a lesbian. Speaking of the novel, in the book, Goldfinger's plan involved raiding Fort Knox and stealing the gold within. However, many fans of the books pointed out that this would be far too time-consuming to be practical. The movie fixes this by having Goldfinger plan to detonate a nuclear weapon at Fort Knox, irradiating the gold and throwing the world's economy into chaos while drastically increasing the value of his own gold. Bond manages to finally charm Pussy Galore and convinces her to switch the deadly gas used for harmless vapors, and as Goldfinger and his team move into Fort Knox, Bond's trap is sprung, and a big firefight breaks out. Goldfinger locks Bond and Oddjob in with the bomb, and the two have a very memorable fight in which Bond has to resort to using his wits and surroundings to take down the tougher man. The bomb stops with 7 seconds left, showing the iconic 007, and although the crafty Goldfinger escapes, he makes a final attempt at killing Bond at the end of the film, which proves fatal for him. As I said previously, the film is less serious in tone than its predecessor, although the same can be said for most of the Bond films, and Goldfinger remains one of the best. Very memorable, extremely quotable, and a load of fun, from the opening theme song by Shirley Bassey to the final scene with Bond and Pussy Galore purposefully stranded together on an island. The film remains extremely watchable and fun. I give Goldfinger a 9 out of a possible 10.